All right, y'all, we are live on this absolutely gorgeous and beautiful Thursday morning, and may the Lord bless you all in Jesus' name. Guys, we got to talk about this Bitcoin price because, as we know, we are coming up to the most important area of resistance as it pertains to our all-time high, which is none other than 105.7. Now, if you are following along with the Jason Casper YouTube channel, then you were able to know that the price was going to pump all the way past $88,569 to 105.7. This was the target given in the middle of April, weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, before the big pump, before the big hype. Shout out to the Jason Casper YouTube channel. Shout out to Jason Casper, man. This dude inspires me. I don't know how he does it all. He must be an internet faker. Everyone is. Now, of course, if you're in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, we gave the juicy entry from 86.5, and we've already benefited from the money and the gains and the profits, all right, from taking these trades, all right? $20,000 locked in. And of course, the question is, are we going to get a pullback from key resistance? Now, look, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm gonna come out the gate right now and say the truth, baby. Man, I'm a Bitcoin bull. I'm looking at these high-term time frame charts, the monthly, the 2-week, the week, the daily, the 2-day, the 4-day. And I'm saying to myself, golly gee, well, put me on a tractor and call me Aunt Sally. Because honestly, guys, things are looking extremely bullish. Getting me more excited than the time me and Carl from the Moon drove to McDonald's in his Maserati.
Hello, I would like to get a Big Mac meal.
But even in the most powerful of uptrends, guys, the price never does go straight up. We get little pullbacks, we get consolidations, we get dips and dabs, dips and dabs and dabs and dips and doopsie dopsies. And we are coming to the area on the chart, which is known historically as the place where Bitcoin is overvalued, too high of a price. It's the value area high of the range, all right? Right around 105.7, 105.6, give or take, actually. Right around here, right? Confluence with the Fibonacci 886. Now, I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm going to never give it to you gay over here on the Jason Casper YouTube channel. When we come into the Fibonacci 886, there is always a low probability of a move back down to the low of the range. All right? A good example of this would be right here. All right, high to the low. We come to the 886 Fibonacci, and oh my goodness, lower high, back all the way down to the low of the range. Now, was this bearish? Was this the end for Bitcoin? No, 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 no. We just continue to trade in the sideways range. Like most of the time, Bitcoin does trade in the sideways range. Now, would we all be disappointed and sad if Bitcoin decided to keep trading the sideways range for longer than we want? Yes, yes! Because what do we want? Gains, baby! And we want them now! Alright, that's why we got into crypto. We got into crypto to get rich quick, overnight. I got $1,500 to my name. I'm gonna show my family I'm worth something. I bought this stuff called Ethereum, baby. You just watch, Aunt Sally. You think I'm a burnout loser living in my mom's garage? Just you wait. It's about to pump. All right, one of these days we're going to be sitting down for dinner, family dinner. I'm going to pull out my phone and be like, guys, guess what? I'm a multi-billionaire. You should have bought Ethereum too, but you didn't. Ha ha. Now you got to work your stupid job that you hate and I don't. Ha ha. That's what we want, okay? But look, sometimes things take longer than expected, all right? Sometimes things take much shorter than expected. It's how I conceived my first son. I love my first son. But sometimes things take a lot longer than expected, all right? And here's the thing. I am not saying we're going to get a pullback from this area. I'm bullish. I already said it. I'm bullish, baby. We're coming out the gate mad bullish, all right? But we need to be prepared for a pullback. So, I'm going to straight up tell you I'm bullish. Why am I bullish? The monthly on market Cipher B is printed el punto verde. El punto verde en español, como se dice, es the green dot. All right. Printing a green dot on the monthly time frame. And historically speaking, these green dots are powerful creatures. We still have half a month left. Even if we get a little bit of a pullback, rest of this week, next week, whatever, we still have 16 days left. When we get these green dots, just look historically at what happens. All right, green dot here. While the green dot is printing, we get a huge move. All right, 54%. And then after it confirms, are we done yet? No. We get another push to the upside right here of another 13%. All right. Obviously, this green dot below the zero line, we're not going to look at that one. But this green dot above the zero line, while it's printing, all right, 50%. After it prints, is the top in yet? No. No, we come up another 15%. So just based on the historical pattern here, it's more probable than not that we're going to pump up potentially. I mean, I'm not the one saying this, but the last few times, well, I am saying it. Look, the last few times the green dot printed on the monthly, we got a 50% pump, followed by a little bit the next month. All right, now I want to look at the VWAP crossing the zero line, very bullish. The 2-week time frame confirmed the green dot. This is a very bullish signal, especially above the zero line with thickening money flow. The weekly time frame, as we know, confirmed hidden bullish divergence. Plenty of room to the upside. All right. Now the daily, the 12-hour. This is where we start to see a little bit of a potential for some pullback. Why? Well, as the price is coming into the most important resistance that we have on the chart, which is 105.6, which again is our bullish target for the reclaim of $88,569, as was given in advance right here on this YouTube channel. Make sure to smash the dang likes. All right. Number of weeks ago, we're coming up to, the area where Bitcoin historically has been considered overvalued. So what does this mean? It means right now the market is going through a test. We're testing us, the market participants. We're asking ourselves, guys, is this expensive for Bitcoin? Should we be taking profits now? 105? Like, remember how scared we were at 74? Things was going to zero, and now we're back here. We have our chance. We regretted a little bit not selling here. We could have sold. We're like, no, we'll wait for higher. And then, and it's like, what? Look, man, I saw that number on the screen, and I'm taking it, right? Or are we gonna be greedy, like all us crypto hodlers are? No, we're not gonna sell, baby. We're gonna hodl because this is a super cycle, baby. And CZ from Binance says anywhere from $500K to $1 million this cycle. And he owns crypto. He's the new CEO ever since Sam Bankman-Fried got sent to jail. Now, I know that CZ also got sent to jail, but he didn't do anything wrong. In fact, he's a pretty cool guy. All right? Bam, baby. So we're testing. What are we going to do here? Are we going to consider this overvalued? Or are we going to consider this a price where we want to now consider undervalued, right? Where we flip it from resistance into support. So that's what we're looking to see here. Now, as we come up here, when we take a look at our oscillator, we are seeing some bearish divergence on some significant time frames here. The 12-hour, for example, bearish divergence, local money flow getting lower. The 4-hour, bearish divergence, money flow getting lower. The Uno hour, bearish divergence, money flow getting lower. All right, it's pretty much giving us the bearish upside down Sam Bankman-Fried man boob pattern. Whereas the price is getting higher to key resistance, Sam Bankman-Fried's man boobs getting lower over time. The hair getting lower over time. The money flow getting lower over time. The red pepperoni nipples getting lower over time. All right, we can clearly see it on our chart right here. The red pepperoni nipples. Of course, this is we have many red nipples here. It's called a polynipperamus. It's the condition. Polynipperitis. Polynipperitis is the condition where you have multiple red pepperoni nipples. But we can also see the money flow getting lower here. And so, look, I'm bullish, but we need to be prepared for a pullback. Now, currently, we're getting a little bit of a bounce, making a higher low. But we do have to recognize that locally here, at least on the 1 hour, we wicked into resistance. We came down, we make a lower low, we make a lower high. Now everybody is waiting to see lower low, or do we hold the line? As the title of the thumbnail says, hold the line. And I took a long trade earlier this week, as you can see, that is currently holding the line. I woke up, it was in a little bit of drawdown here. In fact, when I started the stream, I think it was like negative $3. Earlier this morning was negative 100, 200 something. All right, you can see my stop loss for all you market makers looking to stop me out, baby. But this is Antarctic Exchange where there are no market makers. And shout out to Antarctic, by the way. If you sign up using my link, you get SVIP privileges. Basically 0% limit order fees, 0.01% market. I can't even think of any other exchange doing this right now. Only if you use the Jason Casper link, you get these fees. I also got to give a major shout to BLOFIN. All right, BLOFIN, because they are giving 10% cash back. Discounted fees if you use my link, 0% limit order, 0.04% market order. Multiple chances to win $100, even if you don't deposit anything. You have to use my link, though, for that. And a chance to win all these prizes. You could win a sack of gold coins called a travel fund. A travel fund. Think of all the places you could go for $5,000. You could fill your gas tank twice for that kind of money. You could drive way down the highway and back. A travel fund. Or you could get a Kawasaki. Right? The Rich Dad, Poor Dad Ninja 650. The Robert Kawasaki Rich Dad, Poor Dad Ninja, baby. Only the rich dads drive this. You can't picture a poor dad driving this. This screams that you bought Ethereum at $2. All right, man. Or a Tesla. Man, this screams that you're on a personal relationship level with Elon Musk. He's got you on speed dial. We even got the Illuminati 333 showing that you're in the inner circle. All right, man. Link in the dang description. Also, guys, if you want to join the Casper crew where we give the dang trade setups in advance like this juicy one, then you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com where multiple instructors are giving you their trade setups, levels, and all this stuff every single day, multiple times a day. Best trading community in the world. Also, make sure to check out my free trading course, which is here. So this is me editing the description of it. But if we click the video, all right, we got ourselves a free trading course in the playlist on my website, free trading course. Check it out, all right? Because we're doing 18 videos, literally, for free, teaching you how to trade. This one's on volume, all right? Make sure to smash up the dang likes, because we got over 900 people in the house, only 200 likes. Shout out to my man, Alex O. All right, shout out to Nick Flip, all right? And shout out to Alex Murphy, Random Stuffs TV. Shout out to Eddie. Shout out to Fred Sloan. Shout out to Joe Potter. Shout out to Flippa Frank. Shout out to Process 2 Profits. Shout out to Yowza Doinkosaurus. Shout out to Crypto Coons. You could pay your electric bill, I know, right? Well, that's why you got to get solar panels, man. All right, that's why you got to get yourself some solar panels. Because, look, let's see here. Make sure to follow me on X. But out here on the homestead, man, we got ourselves some solar panels, right? Let's see, can we see them? Yeah, you can see them a little bit in the background there. You know? No electric bill on this homestead, baby. No electric bill on this homestead, I'm telling you. All right? No electric bill, and every day we eat these nice eggs full of cholesterol and saturated fats and all these other things that they say could kill you. All right? So here we are back to the Bitcoin chart. Now let's discuss the potentiality of these divergences kind of plumping out. All right, plumping out a little bit. So look, here's the deal. If we start to make a lower low from this area, then we do need to be prepared for the following. Let's go ahead and pull the volume, everything that's traded here since Trump wins the election. And by the way, shout out to Donald Trump, my man.
Make sure to like and subscribe to Jason Casper. He's the best YouTube trader in the world. He's getting huge. Shout out to the Casper crew.
Now, here we are, back in action, baby. But look, so there's two main levels to be aware of. We start making lower lows here, then we don't need any fancy TA tools just to see that the support resistance flip is going to be right here at the POC of the range. All right, Bart Simpson pattern 101. Fast move up equals fast move down. Where does fast move down end? Fast move down ends where fast move up begins. That's right around here, guys. All right, that's coming down right here. The Bart Simpson pattern plays out. All right, if you don't know why it's called Bart Simpson patterns, because people say it looks like Bart Simpson's head with his spiky hair. All right, or whatever. I talked to my wife about the Bart Simpson pattern, and she doesn't know what it is, and I never watched The Simpsons either. I only know what it is because of trading, right? So here's the thing. Bart Simpson pattern back down to POC of the range. If we go ahead and pull our Fibonacci from the last swing low to the high, and we go ahead and put on our 618 Fibonacci and our 786 Fibonacci, you can see also this is right where, depending on where you pull it from, some people might pull it from here. Basically, this is that zone, that 95 to 98,000 zone, let's just say 96 to 98,000 zone, where we're very likely to find support. Okay, now after that, if we're not going to bounce from this level, we need to be prepared for a move back down to the value area low of the range, which is going to be around $90,000. Again, we don't need to be a technical genius analyst here, all right, to see that this is the level. Why is this the level? Because this was literally our support resistance flip going all the way back to November 11th. 2024. These are going to be the two very key levels if Bitcoin gets pulled back. If. Now remember, we don't even have to worry about this as traders until we make a lower low. Until we make a lower low here. Right? Now, we might not even make a lower low. There's always the chance of a chickens drinking water pattern. All right? There's always a chance of a chickens drinking water pattern. And honestly, chickens drinking water patterns are one of my favorite patterns to trade, because they're very easy to trade, and they're one of my favorite trade setups because they happen quick. But what is a chickens drinking water pattern? A chickens drinking water pattern is where you have a let's see. This is an advertisement. A chickens drinking water pattern is where you have a chicken. Right? She's going to go ahead and she's going to take her beak. She's going to dip it right into the water. Boom! All right? And you think that chicken's about to drown. All right? You literally think that that chicken is about to lose it and drown forever because her head is under the water and there's just no hope of her head ever coming out. But then, she laps it right back up. All right? She laps it right back up. This is what we could see here on Bitcoin, right? We have a lower low. You think the price is going to dip below the level. You think there's no hope for Bitcoin. We're coming all the way down to 97. Not long in here, baby. I'm going to wait. And then boom, the chicken laps up. I love watching chickens drink, guys. It's so funny to watch them drink, how they take that little beak, they stick it into the water. Look at her. Look at her go. Look at that little beak go. Look at it lapping up at the water. In fact, I tried to drink like that once. And let me tell you, it didn't go very well for me. I got water all over my shirt, and it was at a fancy event too. So I ruined my tux, all right? I had water all over, down the whole front of my shirt, on my pants. People said, "Jason, did you urinate within your trousers?" I said, no, I'm just practicing for the next swing failure pattern on Bitcoin, because there's a chance as we lose 100,689.4 that we get a swing failure pattern, aka a chicken drink water pattern. Now, how do we know if we're going to get the CDW? Well, we look at market Cipher B. In fact, you could even make the case right here. This is exactly what we want to look for. All right, look at this. We had the low of the range here, 1 low, 2 low, 3 low, building liquidity. And then the chickens got thirsty right here. Now, what you want to see for a swing failure pattern, a chicken drinking water pattern, is you want to see market Cipher B, the money flow getting higher, the momentum waves getting higher, as the price is wicking down and then coming back up, right? So if we're going to be looking for a pullback, thing number one is simply just chickens drinking at 100,689, and this is our sideways range right here, basically, with the high at 105.7. The low now at around 100.5, and we look for a bounce from there. If we do something like this, where the chicken actually does drown, all right, she's weak. She's a weak chicken. She's about to die anyway. You know, those chickens, they're weird. They're perfect one day, the next day they're randomly dead sometimes. Tries to reclaim, and then boom. All right, she goes down to chicken Sheol, chicken Hades, whatever you want to say, whether Greek or Hebrew. Now, then we're looking for our $97,000 level, all right? Only then, though. Only then. And, of course, when we come down to this area, what do we want to see on Market Cipher B? We want to see the bullish divergences, guys. The bullish divergence. You know, a level don't mean a peak if you don't see your bullish divergence. So what is a bullish divergence? A bullish divergence is where, as the price is getting lower, your oscillator's getting higher like this, all right? The juicy, uneven butt cheek pattern. The level don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek, baby. A level don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek, baby, all right? This is what my grandmother used to tell me. My grandma used to trade Bitcoin back in the 30s before computers. And let me tell you, it was very difficult back then to keep the blockchain algorithm secure on paper and pencil. But they did it. That generation, man, they could do amazing things, all right? They could do amazing things. They could come from a different country, not have an education, not know the language, work their way up to a really high position in a company, and become millionaires, man. I don't know how that happened, but it was a different time back then. All right, shout out to my grandfather who literally did that. But, look, yeah, don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek. So if there ain't no cheek, as we're taking a peek, then we look down to our next level. Now, again, this stuff don't really matter at all if we get the CDW or we just make a higher low here and we start to pump, all right? Now, one last thing that I do want to just make everybody aware of, all right? I just want to make everybody aware of it because I'm aware of it. It's in the back of my mind. It's like a splinter in my mind. Like at night, when I go to sleep, I lay my head on the pillow, close my eyes, start to drift off. All of a sudden, I wake up with a thought in my head. What if I grab my phone? I open up TradingView just to make sure it hasn't happened. Whew! It hasn't happened. But the one big what if that keeps me up at night is this, all right? The Bitcoin price front ran a very key level down at Yander, which is our Fibonacci golden pocket, right? From the last swing low to the current swing high up here, right? We just front ran just a little bit. Hang on, I didn't pull this thing right. Gotta take it from this low, all right? We just front ran just a little bit. We also just front ran the 382 en español. ¿Cómo se dice en español 382? Ah, 382. Sí, 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 señor. We have the 382. Wait a second. Yeah, we have our 382. Also front run here, just by a smidgen. All right. So what does this mean? This means, guys, all right, this means there's a potential of a massive chickens drinking water happening from here, all right? Because remember, again, this is the kind, I'm not saying this is going to happen. It's just this is the stuff where I lay the head on the pillow at night and I wake up, you know, with the fear and the anguish of having to tell my parents, yes, I invested everything into crypto and yes, I lost it all. I lost it all. And I do it again too because I'm addicted, right? So here's the deal. When we got the 886 rejection in 2024, I remember it like yesterday because it was quite interesting. We did make a lower low, all right? We took that low, and then we got our bounce, right? We took that low, rejecting from the 886. We got a big old McDonald's pattern, all right? So this is the thing that keeps me up at night. And look what we back tested. We back tested the highs of the previous little range right here. All right. We back tested the highs of the previous range right here. Actually, we back tested the highs of this range right here. In fact, if you're in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, this is a trade setup that I told everybody, live signal, baby, I'm long right now. Because it was just such a key level of support and resistance. And that 382 is literally the back test of the old range. All right? So I'm not saying this is going to happen, but also something that's very interesting here is that, look at this too. These 886s and these big ranges, they do play like an important role. Like right here, rejection from it. Right here, bounce from it. You know, it's interesting. Then we take it again from here to here. Another rejection from it. You see that 886 fib? It's so interesting, right? Then we take it again from here down to here. Did we get another rejection from it? No, we didn't. Okay, but it did. It was respected 3 times in that last range. Okay, so this is why it wakes me up at night, because it's a little deja vu, right? Up here, we're not going to reject from the 886. No, come on, super low probability. See, I told you, we're going to make a new all-time. Oh, just a higher low is going to happen, right? Oh, it's just a healthy pullback, a higher low at the low of the range, right? Well, just a failed auction. We'll make it back, right? Here we go. The all-time high, right? Here we go, baby. Yeah, bullish thumbnails, open mouth, baby. Car from the moon, baby. Dropping video. Oh, sell everything at the bottom. You know, a little bit of deja vu here. And let me tell you guys, you know, I was right there expecting a higher high here. Fully expecting it. Fully expecting it here too. All right, fully expecting it. Because it did look bullish, right? It legit looked bullish here. This looked really bullish. All right. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I did short this, and I did short this too, because they gave valid short trades. And I'm not gonna lie, as I said on Sunday, I'm short from the 886 now, because you can't just not short the 886 value area high when there's bear divs. You have to, especially if you're in long trades like me, where you're up $25,000 unrealized profit. You have to take a hedge to protect that capital, right? But that is the last scenario that is potentially could happen here. And move all the way back down to the low, bouncing from the top. See, I tell it like this to you in this voice, so it's not as heavy hitting, because it's impossible to take it too seriously if I tell you like this. But the last chance, the last scenario that we have is come all the way back down to the low 70s, 70,000 even, 73, like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in 1973, pumping iron. All right, all the way to 1980 when he beat Mike Mensa unfairly at the Olympia, and then Mike Mensa went into eternal depression forever. Always hating Arnold with his stupid high volume training. All it takes is one set every year to get massive pectorals. Okay, this is the last scenario we got. And this would still be bullish. Why would it still be bullish? Like, I want to talk about why this is bullish. The reason why this would be extremely bullish is because, all right, think of it this way, guys. When in doubt, zoom it out. All right, when in doubt, don't pout, just zoom out. We only trade for the Twitter clout. Taking screenshots and never profits. At the 886, can you even spot it, baby? If we get another move down to this level, all right, we're gonna have extremely bull divs on the weekly. Second drive of bull div on the weekly, continuing in the range, would look really nice. You know what it would look like, guys? It would kind of look like what the daily looked like right here. All right, what would the daily look like if that happened? We would have more money flow divs, more bull divs, all this kind of stuff. I don't remember what we are talking about, okay? I don't remember what we are talking about. Yes, to be very bullish if we come down to this area. We see bullish divergences. I would still be bullish, alright? I would still be bullish. But this is the last scenario, which basically would be very similar to our last range here, where we reject from the 886, we back test the previous range, big capitulation, freak everyone out, and then get the breakout, okay? So yeah, those are pretty much the scenarios, guys, for the Bitcoin. Pretty much the Bitcoin scenarios right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Man, we got 1,100 people in the house, only 400 likes. Can we get the likes up to the watchers? Can we get the likes up to the watchers? Man. Shout out to the Dusty Hunt. He says, no more coffee for you, Jason. Man, it's a good day. Look, I love days where I wake up. It's a workout day. So I hit the iron this morning, right? Hit the weights. Gets me pumped. All right, gets me pumped for the dang stream. Hitting the weights. Hitting some weighted dips. Some overhead press. Some weighted chin-ups. And some nice dumbbell bent rows. All right. Butt cheeks, yeah, you gotta get the butt cheeks. Shout out to Florida J. He says he ain't ready for a weekend pump. Shout out to Juan. He says, can you have a look at Mubarak USDT? All right, let's check it out. All right, let's see what we got here. Well, there's very little data to work with. But we had a bullish break and a back test. Bullish break and back test. Hang on. I thought I took this song off the playlist. This smooth jazz song. Which I do like, but it does change the vibe. Alright, let's go ahead and pull a fib here. Yeah, so we already got our bounce from the golden pocket. So, we're getting a 12-hour red dot. We're getting a one-day red dot. I would be looking at this if I was looking for trades here. I would be looking at this kind of as our range. Where I would be interested in a long, or at least looking for a long from the bottom of the range here, and potentially looking for a short at the top of the range. But this does look more bullish than bearish. But I would be looking at this as our sideways range here, honestly, because we have a 4-hour order block right here. We have the liquidity right here, which means right around 3668 is going to be our support, give or take. Thank you so much for the super chat, Juan. I appreciate you. All right, Livar Strangeland says, I'm super bullish, but sometimes we need to reload. So I think bad numbers now because of tariffs. Is this PPI that you're speaking of? Why is Bitcoin being gay? Well, here's the thing. Bitcoin, I think most of the time, is pretty non-hetero. I mean, like, look at this. For example, we see most of the time it's simply just trading sideways, like chopping around, like most of the time, right? So every time we come to the top of one of these ranges, it's easy to get super excited, and I myself get very excited, but you know, I mean, if we have something like what we had last time, 8 months, you know, let's see, the last two ranges were 8 months of range. So let's see, you know, just a thought experiment, 238 days. It's going to take us to right around the end of June. All right. It's going to take us right around to the end of June. So yeah. Shout out to Dave Digital. God bless you, bro. Momentum wave speaks for itself. Patience is key. You could say it swings both ways. LOL. LOL. Alright, we got the PPI. Let's check out Forex Factory. I gotta make a website called 100x Factory, where it only deals with crypto news. Alright, today's the 15th, so we got ourselves in about half an hour, give or take. The core PPI, all right? So they're forecasting 0.3. The previous forecast, it came down. If the PPI is higher than the forecast, that's good for the dollar, that's bad for the crypto. If the PPI is lower, that's bad for the dollar, and they say on paper, good for the crypto. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. PPI usually doesn't affect us as much as CPI does, but interesting also today, 10 minutes after PPI, Jerome Powell is going to speak. All right, this could give us some big volatility coming in about 40 minutes. This could give us some big volatility. Jerome Powell speaking. When JP speaks, keep your eye on the cheeks. All right, when JP speaks, keep your eye on the cheeks, baby. Shout out to Klaus. He says, I have all my eggs on Supra. Looks like a bottom. You have all your eggs in a coin called Supra? Well, I pray it works out for you, man. I pray it works out for you, bro. Oh, man. Okay, so here's the deal about Supra. I don't know what it is, but definitely potential for a squeeze. Here, let's turn it off log. I mean, there is a big potential here for a squeeze, okay? We do have the falling wedge, the potential breakout, potential for a big squeeze. I don't know what this thing is, but potential 850% gains. All right, but so far, do we have a sign of strength? We do have a bullish engulfing move on the daily here. You could say we have a change of structure, which could be our first local sign of strength to back test and then get the break. But we're in price discovery mode to the downside here. So I hope it works out. I really hope it works out for you there. I really hope it works out for you there. You have all your eggs in the refrigerator. I keep mine on the counter. I don't keep my eggs in the fridge. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. It's the new soul. All right, it's the new soul. All right, all right. It's the new soul. All right, all right. Why half the people watching don't like the stream? I don't know. I think they're too tired because it's so early in the morning, these streams. Maybe they're too tired, you know, because back when we stream in the afternoon, man, people smash those likes. They smash them. They smash them. You know? Give them the good old like smash, baby. That thing's about to discover zero, says J-Boy Bullish. Yeah. Do I do the one set thingy? Nah, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do the Mike Mentor thing. Look, everything works and everything doesn't work. When it comes to lifting weights, everything works and everything doesn't work. All right? I need some good old school bro science for y'all. All right? You try a new workout routine for the first time, or maybe you haven't done it in a while, you're going to have insane strength and muscle gains. Maybe you won't have muscle gains, but your muscles will be fuller. You'll be pumped when you're not pumped. All right? You've been doing high rep, high volume, getting burnt out. Go give the Mike Mentor training style a try for like 12 weeks. All right? You're going to see gains, man. All right? You've been doing the Mike Mentor style. You're starting to get aching joints. Can't progress. Can't add weight to the bar. Can't be any more intense. Start doing some high volume. Some sets of 12 to 15. Let me tell you, man, you're going to have amazing workouts. Going to be feeling good. The joints going to be feeling lubricated and good. You're doing some bench press, high rep. You look in the mirror, your dang pectorals jumping out the shirt. All right? But keep doing that. Eventually, your body's going to get used to it, man. You got to get some bro science. You got to shock the system. You got to switch it up, baby. All right? Everything works until all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. And that's why you got to periodize your training. Or at least set it up where like you're going to do this for like maybe 12, 16 weeks and progress in this certain style for a little while. and then change it up. All right? And it's so easy to fall into the trap of, man, this works, so I'm going to keep doing it. And when it stops working, you go harder. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, high volume was working for a while, it stops working, so I'm going to go even higher volume. Next thing you know, you're burnt out, you can't even walk up the stairs, you're not making any strength gains, you're regressing, and you see some video on YouTube about Mike Mentzer. You know, all it takes is one set. See, the body is very scientific. Eat your bologna sandwich for breakfast. The carbohydrates go right into the ATP of the muscles to push the weight as hard as you can when you're fully recovered. After about 25 days of rest, you'll be fully recovered. And the only thing that matters is next workout, you do more weight than you did the last. You're like, you know what? That makes sense. I'm so under-recovered, I could use a week off eating bologna sandwiches. You start doing that, man, you're making these big old gains in the gym. But after a while, you're getting a tendinitis. I mean, how many big sets to failure can you do before you really hurt yourself, man? Then the pendulum swings the other way. You know, you're just too tired to do your workout, so you know what you do? You just do like a whole bunch of body weight chin-ups and dips. You have the best workout of your life, the biggest pump, feeling great. Man, I'm telling you. Shout out to my man Thaddeus Bluff. Thaddeus, he says, hope all is well, brother. Update on Theta. Let's take a look at Theta. Theta. Alright. Theta. But honestly, right now I am doing more of the Mike Mentzer style. I'm doing like 1 or 2 hard sets, short workouts, just because my life requires it right now. And I'll tell you, I know I'm making gains, like strength gains for sure. I don't know about muscle gains. I've weighed myself, but it's hard to say because I've been pounding the food. So I don't know if it's water weight or what. I don't think it's fat weight. I'm pretty dang cut right now. All right, let's take a look at Theta. It could be fat. Who the heck knows? Honestly, who knows? Who cares anyway? All right. Who even cares anyway? I do hold quite a bit of Theta. So what's the deal with Theta? Well, I'd say this. Theta has come back to the bottom of the range. Alright, we've got the historic support resistance flip, making a slightly higher low. We've got ourselves a clearly defined range. I'd say resistance, flip to support. Alright, this is our range. As we come down to the range, do we have any kind of bullish divergence here? We don't, not in the weekly. But we did have a bull div at this low, so this could mark a nice bottom. We've gotten a retest. Let's go down to our 4-day. The 4-day is giving us some slight bull div here. It honestly, I'll be honest with you, like, it looks pretty... The daily's where it looks nice, alright? Do we have a ray of hope here? We have a ray of hope, which is we've changed market structure on the daily, which means coming back down, if we get a pullback to this area, that would be a place to look for our higher low. All right, and we're currently trying to get back inside of this level, so it makes sense we find resistance here. We look for the introverted head and shoulder pattern, you know, something like that. Theta doesn't look as bullish as I would want it to. And to be honest, I don't really know much about Theta. I kind of FOMO'd into it because my brother was super bullish on it. I trusted him, and I still trust him. So let's see what happens with it. We got a nice weekly bottom. Last time we had a weekly bottom, we got a big move up. Last time before that, we got a big move up. All right. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, crap. You guys can't see it. You guys can't see it. I forgot to change the dang chart. Sorry, guys. Forgot to change the dang chart. Sheesh, man. Jason Casper. What a fool. What a fool. You get tired watching me walk? Man. Every fool thinks the Mike Mentzer workout's the easy way out. Yeah, it's totally not, alright? If you're doing actual Mike Mentzer workouts, After like 20 minutes, half an hour of working sets, you're toast. You're toast. If you can keep pushing after that, you are not doing it right. Honestly, we're talking like you have to like give it everything you got, man. Everything you got. Man, it's grueling. But it is rewarding afterwards, all right? It is rewarding afterwards. Alrighty, yeah, so Theta looking kind of good here, honestly. Are we going to pull up the Powell speech? He's speaking in what, half an hour? It depends on what's going on. Yeah, Theta at the low of the range. We got ourselves a weekly bottom. Last 2 weekly bottoms got to move to the top of the range. Let's check again on when JP is going to speak. All right, when is JP going to speak? Yeah, it looks like in about half an hour. About half an hour. You want to walk and trade? Look, walking and trading is the way to go, I'll tell you. Walking and trading is the way to go. At least I think so. But I'm a weird guy, all right? I'm a weird guy. I'm an extreme guy. How does ETH look? Let's check out. Let's check it out. Did I ever try Kinobody's programs? I can't stand Kinobody's programs because Kinobody hates to eat. Kinobody hates to eat. He hates to eat. He'd rather sit on the couch all day drinking sparkling water and work out twice a week and eat like 2,000 calories a day to stay lean. When I can't get down with that. I can't. I like to eat too much, all right? I like to eat too much. So I just can't get down with that, man. I cannot go that low in my calories. I can't. All right, I can't intermittent fast all day and then like have one steak and potatoes for dinner. All right, I can't. Even if I try and do that, I'll have like 2,000 grams of potatoes. All right, so nah, I can't be down with that. I'd rather eat more, burn more style. I'd rather eat more, burn more style. And honestly, I know this is some crazy bro science, but I'm a firm believer that eating more boosts your metabolism. All right, I'm eating 600, 700 grams of carbohydrates a day, 4,500 to 5,000 calories a day. All right, pretty lean, pretty strong, making gains in the gym with the strength numbers. All right, and I'd rather do it that way. I'd rather eat until I'm actually full, man, than starve myself for the whole life just so I could look like a dang movie star. All right? That's just what I'm saying. I don't think it's sustainable. It might be for him. He can do it. He's done it. I mean, he's done it for 10 years. But I can't do it. I can't do that. I can't do that. I got more things to do in my life than sit there and, like, think about fasting, man. I'm out here on the farm trying to grow my dang potatoes. Ethereum, right now, breaking above our $2,000 level. If Bitcoin's going to get a pullback, all right? If Bitcoin's going to get a pullback, ETH probably get a pullback, where would we look for our first bounce on ETH? We would look for us to come back and test this support resistance flip. We have a daily order block. We have the $2,000 major support resistance flip. We'd look for the classic breakout, retest, blast off. All right? All things considered, ETH looks bullish, just like the Bitcoin does. All right? We are seeing some local signs of resistance at resistance. We're currently trying to get inside of the old value area right here. You see that? Bitcoin's coming to the top of the fair value zone. Bitcoin's coming to the value area high. Ethereum's coming to the value area low. Both assets are at resistance. Could we bull flag and pump? Absolutely. If we reclaim 2750, then we're getting sucked up to $4,000. If we reject here, then this is the area looking juicy for right now, honestly. That's the area, the first area of support, looking juicy. Eating big boosts your testosterone. I fully believe that, Robert Harold. Like, honestly, I'm all on this weird thing right now. Jesus was down with the fast. Shouldn't we strive to be like him? Absolutely, 100%. In fact, if you're a believer, if you're a follower of Jesus, fasting should absolutely 100% be a part of your lifestyle. Absolutely 100%. You know, I fast quite often for spiritual purposes. I also fast, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I do intermittent fast. Like, I'm fasted right now. Haven't eaten nothing since 4 p.m. yesterday, and I've already done a heavy workout and walking all these steps. But, yeah, fasting's definitely good for you. But I'm just saying in general, when people are talking about, like, eating low-calorie foods, like restricted nutrients, I just don't feel like that's the way, man. But, whatever, you know? Eating more turns you into a fat ass. Fasting works for you. You also gotta do what works for you, right? You gotta do what works for you. Have I got my testosterone checked? Yeah, I get it checked all the time. It's usually between like the high 600s and the mid 700s. OMAD is amazing. OMAD's pretty cool. Intermittent fasting is the way. I don't know, I go through phases with it, honestly. I go through phases with the fasting. Fasting for spiritual purposes. Yeah, so what you do is you fast for a day or multiple days of no food, and you set aside that time specifically for prayer and seeking the Lord. For prayer and seeking the Lord and spending time in God's presence. And when you deny the most fundamental needs of the flesh, food, you are more sensitive to spiritual things. All right, you're more sensitive to hearing the Lord speak to you when you get the flesh out of the way. And yeah, it's definitely something if you're a Christian, at least if you're a follower of Jesus the Messiah, you should do it, because he says when you fast, assuming you're going to be doing it, just like he says when you pray, assuming you're going to be doing it, he outlines how you should do it, right? Have I done a 3-day fast? I have. The longest fast I've ever done without food was 11 days in 2013. But yeah, I do a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot of, but maybe once every other month or so, I'll do a 2 or 3 day fast. I go through periods of fasting twice a week, like 2 24s or 36s, depending on the day. But these are always for spiritual things, all right? If ever, like right now, I'm technically fasting, but I don't consider it fasting, all right? I'm not denying my body food. I'm not even hungry, all right? I'm not even hungry. All right, we got a scammer in the chat. I'm gonna ban you. Do I take steroids? I don't know. The Master Cleanse. I've done that before as well, with the lemon juice, the cayenne, and the syrup. Jesus outlines the care of slaves also. Well, God outlines the care of slaves, that's for sure. And aren't you glad that God outlines the care of slaves? Because if there's going to be slavery, which there is, because we live in a fallen world, wouldn't you rather have some kind of divine instruction for treating them properly and letting them go free after 7 years and providing them everything that they need and not treating them harshly? Or would you rather have no outline and just let it be a free-for-all where people can beat their slaves and kill their slaves and mutilate them and all this kind of stuff, right? See, every commandment in the Bible exists because mankind is sinful. All right, if mankind wasn't sinful, God wouldn't have to say, don't murder or don't commit adultery. But because these things are a propensity of the fallen man's condition, the Lord has to give us outlines on how to properly act. All right? So, yeah, unfortunately, slavery exists in a world where man is sinful, fallen, and separated from God. All right? Can you believe in Jesus if you're Jewish? Is this a serious question? Come on, guys. I'm Jewish. I believe in him. Jesus is Jewish. And all of the original followers of Jesus were Jewish. You know? All the original followers of Jesus were Jewish. Alright guys, I gotta head out though. It's getting late. God bless you all, in Jesus' name. I love each and every one of you. May the Lord bless you. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Make sure to like, subscribe.